Hey, what's up? I got some more lore content for you guys. If you've recently stumbled across lore, whether you saw it in the League client or a friend told you about it, then this video is for you. Hello, my name is Tempo. I've hit Master Tier every season since the beta, even hitting rank 1 multiple times on the North American ladder, and I will be your guide for what decks to invest in early so you can get a jump start in Legends of Runeterra. Here's a quick tutorial on how to import codes for new players. For PC users, click on the description box of this video and scroll down to the deck code. Highlight the code and press Ctrl+C or right-click copy, either one works. Then open your lore client and in the collection menu, hit import deck and it will pull it up for you. For mobile users, click on the Mobalytics link provided under the codes and scroll until you see the download icon. Click on it and then hit the copy deck code button. Open your lore app, go to the collection menu and tap on import code to insert it into your collection. So before we get into it, it's important to keep in mind that you get quite a few decks from completing the tutorial XP route in lore. I'd recommend playing all of them to farm resources and also learn what you enjoy playing. In this video, I will be covering 2 decks that the game naturally starts you off with, but refined with better cards. And the third deck I'm covering branches off from the tutorial decks just a tiny bit. Since these lists have some cards you need to craft, you will probably need to play the basic tutorial versions for a couple of sessions until you can make the finalized versions from this video. The lists that I'm showing are all super budget, focusing on common and rare cards since they're much cheaper. But if you look at the description box of this video, there will also be versions of the decks that have more powerful epic cards included, so grab those and work towards them at your own pace. These decks will all be focused on the standard format. Make sure to check out my recent beginner guide if you haven't yet. That way you know the difference between standard and eternal. It's also packed with tons of tips about getting cards as soon as possible, so make sure to check it out. And here we have our first deck, Darkness. This is a very good beginner-friendly introduction to value-based control decks in Legends of Runeterra. If you want to play slow, methodical, and controlled playstyles, then this deck is the gateway. The main strategy of the deck is to play around a card called Darkness. It is a 3-mana slow speed spell that deals 2 damage to an enemy. What's cool is that we can interact with this card in various ways. There are cards in the deck that generate it, so giving you a Darkness in hand. There are ways to discount Darkness, making it cheaper to play, and there are also ways to make Darkness stronger, dealing more damage each time it's cast. This makes Darkness a reoccurring threat that's super fun to play around, because a lot of cards are basically working towards the same goal of getting Darkness nice and big and using it as strong removal throughout the early and mid game, while also being a game ender via leveled up Vhagar. And getting into the list specifically, we have Triple Pytos, 1 mana, fast speed spell, deal 1 to a unit, so really good at dealing with those pesky early game units that the opponent is trying to develop, and also after Pytos resolves, you get another card in hand called Perilous Pastry, which is a 2 mana slow speed spell that deals 1 to anything, so you can use this to hit another 1 HP unit of the opponent's. You can use it to finish off something that has already been damaged, or you can actually use this one on the opponent's Nexus, which is really interesting, so this can also double up as 1 face damage. And next we have Double Quietus, which is a 1 mana slow speed spell. Kill a unit with total power and health of 4 or less, or destroy a unit's equipment. So you can kill a 2/2 unit with it, a 1/3, pretty much anything that has total stats less than or equal to 4. Or you have the option of destroying a unit's equipment. Equipment in Legends of Runeterra is like an add-on card. You put it on top of a unit and then it gains extra stats and also extra effects. They're basically weapons, so Quietus is a good weapon removal card. If you are fighting a lot of weapon-based decks, right, people just enjoy that strategy, we can use Quietus to kill the weapons for just 1 mana. Next we have Ceaseless Sentry, 2 mana 2/1, last breath, draw 1 card. This is a really good body to put up in the early game, use it to trade into the opponent's units, right? If the opponent also has like a 2/1, we are always okay trading because we want to play back, we want to play defensive, and we want to draw more cards out of it. So it's really nice that Ceaseless Sentry can come down, trade into an early game unit, while also giving us +1 draw. Speaking of +1, we have Conchologist, another very strong tool for Bandle City control decks. 2 mana 2/1, play. Manifest a spell from your regions that cost 3 or less. So Manifest just says, look at 3 cards, pick 1, it goes to your hand. So that's really nice. Conchologist giving us an extra resource to play around, you know, more removal, sometimes maybe a draw card. Anything that Conchologist generates for you will probably be useful at some point in the game. Next we have Triple Dark Bulb Acolyte, 2 mana 2/2, Augment. So Augment just says, when you play a created card, grant me 1/0. Created cards are generated, so something from Conchologist, which we just talked about, or Darkness cards, because we have to generate those. Then whenever Dark Bulb Acolyte sees you play that card, he will be getting extra attack, which is really cool. So he starts as a cheap and weak early game unit, but can actually scale up into like 4 or 5 attack pretty easily. When I'm summoned, create a darkness in hand if you don't have one, so this is one of our darkness generators. Really good card at getting darkness in our hand in the early game and then using it whenever we need it. Next we have Double Glimpse Beyond, 2 mana fast speed spell, kill an ally to draw 2. This is a Shadow Isles staple card. It is very good in most, if not all, Shadow Isles decks. The main time to use Glimpse Beyond is actually as a reaction. So when one of your units is going to die to something, like the opponent is going to shoot your dude, like let's say you play an early game unit, it's going to get Mystic Shotted, well, you can respond with Glimpse Beyond. The way the spell stack works in the game is that spells resolve backwards as they're put up. So basically, if your unit is going to die, you can put Glimpse Beyond there and that will resolve first, making your unit die because it was going to die anyways, but also giving you a +2 draw, basically letting you edge out of the interaction. Next we have Portal Pioneer, which is actually a more recent inclusion to the game. It is a 2 mana 1/1 Attune. Attune says when I'm summoned, refill 1 spell mana. So as long as you are a spell slinging deck, this card basically costs 1 because it's giving you 1 back in order to cast your spells. On play, pick an Explorer spell to create in hand. So you are shown all 4 of these options and you get to pick one. They're all super flexible and they're all super useful in different game states and in different matchups. This first one is just like Quietus. It destroys an opponent's equipment. So if you have a really heavy weapon matchup and you don't have Quietus, well then we have Portal Pioneer to give us an extra copy of it basically in order to slow down the opponent and kill their weapons. In the same manner, we have Destroy a Landmark. So landmarks are another card type that the opponents will try to play around depending on their deck. Being able to destroy it for 2 mana is really nice, of course. So Portal Pioneer, super good into the landmark matchups. Then we have Explorer's Blunder. This is a focus speed one that says disable an enemy's positive keywords this round and again at the next round start. So this is mainly used against really strong keywords like elusive. Elusive means you can't block the unit unless you have an elusive of your own or an effect that can block elusive. So that's really annoying. Being able to turn off elusive is super nice. We can also turn off overwhelm, which is like piercing damage. So overall, just really good at like keyword based strategies or like a keyword stacker. Let's say there's a unit that has like 6 keywords on it. Well, then Explorer's Blunder can just turn all of it off, which is super good for us. And it turns it off for 2 turns. And finally, we just have a generic heal card. We can use this to heal an ally and keep them nice and healthy, or we can use it to heal our own face, protecting us from aggressive strategies. Next, we have another removal card, 2 mana slow speed spell, Soul Harvest. Kill a follower with 3 or less power, or spend 3 mana to kill a champion with 3 or less power. So you do have to spend the extra mana, but you can kill a lot of early and mid game champions with Soul Harvest, which is super nice. Being able to slow down the opponent and develop our own stuff is basically the key strategy, so Soul Harvest helps a lot with that, especially if the opponent really needs to play around their early champion. Next we have Twisted Catalyzer, one of the strongest cards in the deck. 2 mana 3/2, strike, grant your darkness everywhere 1 extra damage. So whenever Catalyzer attacks or blocks, then darkness will also get 1 extra stat wherever it is, and this can ramp up. So Catalyzer will make your darkness deal 3 for the rest of the game. If Catalyzer gets 2 strikes in, well then your darkness is going to deal 4 for the rest of the game, and then 5, and then 6, and you can see how this gets out of control. Twisted Catalyzer is a very good card, especially if you open multiple. Bonus points if you can make one or multiple of them strike multiple times. Then it just gets kind of crazy for the opponent to deal with. Next we have Stilted Roadmaker, 4 mana 3/4. When I'm summoned, reduce the cost of your darkness everywhere by 1. So really good body, 4/3/4 is pretty nice. Can use it to block most mid-game stuff. And then darkness is going to cost less. Being able to cast darkness for 2 instead of 3 is already a massive discount. If you can get multiple Roadmakers, this stacks. So you can get darkness down to 1 mana, and sometimes even free if you resolve all 3 Roadmakers in the game. So absolutely insane, really good card as well. Next we have our first champion, Veigar. When I'm summoned, create a darkness in hand if you don't have one, so he's a generator. Round start, grant your darkness everywhere 1 extra damage. Okay, he also has the Catalyzer effect, but it's every round start, which means if you get Vhagar down early and he doesn't die, then you get away with extra damage ramping on your darkness spells. To level him up, you need to deal 12 darkness damage over the course of the game, which should be pretty easy to do, especially when you get into the mid and late game. Then he becomes Grand Overseer Vhagar. Basically, all he does now is allows you to cast darkness on the enemy face. So let's say you've ramped up your darkness up to like 6 or 7 damage. Well, now you can target the enemy with it directly and have a really big burst finish. What's really nice is you also get a new darkness every round start from him. So you can basically just darkness the enemy face, pass, darkness the enemy face, play another generator, darkness the enemy face, and you just won. So Vhagar turns your ramping darkness control tool straight into direct damage. If you have multiple copies of Vhagar, let's say one is on the board, the rest of them in your hand turn into Event Horizon, which is an AoE stun card, really good at stalling the opponent. And next we have our other champion, Senna. 5 mana 4/4, quick attack. Quick attack really good. While attacking, strikes before its blocker, so she can kill things before taking damage back. When I'm summoned, or whenever she does an attack call, create darkness in hand if you don't have one, so really good generator. You get a lot of darkness with her. Your damage and kill spells accelerate to fast, which means now your slow speed spells are going to be fast speed, and that includes darkness, which is really good because now you can cast it during combat, in which you weren't able to before. Senna has a very unique and very powerful effect, accelerating an entire spell speed, so keep that in mind when you are playing her. Her level up condition says, I've seen you kill 3 units with spells or an allied Lucian died. We're not playing Lucian, so that's not going to happen. So what you're going to do is kill 3 units. This can be your own if you're doing Glimpse Beyond, or it can be the enemy units if you are using your removal. And then when she levels, she's a 5/5. When I'm summoned or attack, create a darkness in hand if you don't have one, so same effect. Also, your damage and kill spells accelerate to fast and cost 1 less. So she has a little bit of cost reduction on the darkness, and also your other kill spells that have been accelerated, so she's just really, really good, allowing you to play your control cards for less and also quicker. Really insane. Extra copies of Senna are Dawning Shadow. It is a slow speed spell, but if she's on the board, it's going to be fast speed. Kill a unit and give all enemies -2 this round, so it just kills an enemy outright, and then also lowers the attack value of the opponent, making it really hard for the opponents to actually finish the game against you and push damage. Speaking of which, we have Ishtali Sentinel, 6 mana 4/5 lifesteal. Whenever this unit deals damage with her attack stat, you heal for that, so really, really good against aggro strategies, right? Things that are trying to play aggressive into you. When I'm summoned, create a darkness in hand if you don't have one. Yep, so it's a generator. When you play your next darkness this round, copy it targeting the enemy nexus. So that's really interesting. You can darkness an enemy unit, and it's also going to double dip and hit the enemy's face, much like the Vhagar level 2 effect. There's also a really strong interaction with Sentinel and level 2 Vhagar, so if you play Sentinel, your next darkness will copy and hit the enemy nexus, but Vhagar is allowing you to target the enemy nexus. So if you target the enemy nexus with darkness, she will create a copy also targeting the enemy nexus, basically double casting and doing double darkness damage, which is really funny. If your darkness is up to 10, well, then you just one-shot your opponent in 1 turn. And next we have Triple Vengeance, which is another staple Shadow Walls card. 6 mana fast speed spell, just kill a unit. Very simple. Really good if the opponent is trying to develop a really big dude. Well, you can just kill it outright. Very nice in the mid and late game. And rounding us out, we have 2 Rekindler, 7 mana 4/4. When I'm summoned, revive the strongest dead allied champion. That's really nice if Vhagar or Senna end up dying in the mid game. We can just play Rekindler and summon them back. What's really strong about that is that they have on summon effects to get the darkness back directly into your hand. So whenever you summon them back from the graveyard with Rekindler, you will also get their bonus effects of getting darkness, which is super nice all around. And that's it for the deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how the deck plays out. I'll be giving context to why I'm playing certain cards, and hopefully it gives you a good feel on how to play the deck. And for the example game, we're going to be fighting Nora Nico, which is a swarm deck. So they're going to be spamming the board with a bunch of early dudes, and we're going to be trying to kill them. So we have Contrologist to help us generate a spell. We have Catalyzer to amp darkness. Senna, Glimpse. I think we could probably get rid of Glimpse and try to find Vhagar would be really cool. Or another early game darkness generator. Yeah, like that one. Perfect. So now we have our first couple turns pretty much planned out. Also, look how pretty the Senna skin is. I have the whole like arcade matching entourage. So I have arcade Vhagar, I got the arcade board, Star Guardian Senna. Super nice. So yeah, they're not playing anything on their attack 2, which I find kind of interesting. That means no Nora in their opening hand, or they're waiting for me to play something. I do want to play something, that is true. I think what I want to do is Acolyte here. That way we can get the darkness in our hands. And just show them, hey, we can even kill something like Nora pretty soon here. Frostbite Cub? Frostcoat Cub? Yeah, that's fine. We don't want to take this trade because... Check the eyeball over here on the left, see how this is going to play out. We're going to lose our unit and theirs stays alive. That is not worth for us. So, we're fine just taking 2 damage to face. Maybe we'll heal it back later with our lifesteal unit, right? You never know. For now, let's play Catalyzer. And then use him to try to kill the Frostcoat Cub. Much better for us. And also gives us a damage boost to our darkness if we can get away with this. Hopefully they don't have any removal like double pie toss or drop the bomb or something. Would be kind of annoying.
Tiny toads, giant snakes,
Interesting. So it's a Nora and Fruit. That's a very strong card. We can kill it next turn with Darkness. So let's go ahead and only attack with Catalyzer for now. Get the Darkness amping as well. Yep, trade the Frostcoat Cub. That is pretty good for us. They're going to get 1 discount before I kill this thing. Oh my goodness, another one? That's insane. Wow. Oh, we have to go ahead and kill one, otherwise they're going to start playing their entire hand for free. Double Anora and Fruit is kind of a high roll hand. We can't let them like swarm super hard on us. Conchologist. Eye is really good actually. Love that Conchologist can get us more removal. Oh, yucky. Nora. Yucky. Okay, there's not much I can do about that at the current moment. Yeah, they wanted to play their whole hand for sure with that double Nora play. Quietus, that's pretty nice actually. I'm down to lead with that and just try to threaten the Nora. Oh no, a Nora and Fruit has to die too though. This is a bit of an issue. I mean, yeah, let's just do it. Going to kill a Nora and Fruit with the Careless Pastry. Then we're also going to shoot the Nora with Quietus. Be kind of happy with that. And then we'll have enough mana to play like another Conch after, maybe. Let's call that a day. Hungry Owlcat. Yeah, sounds good to me. I love how big our Dark Bulb Acolyte is getting too. Very threatening. Let's play Conch. Mark, Sap, Shape. Wow, these are all pretty meh. Mark of the Owl is probably the most useful, I think. Heal Allies 3 is kind of useless. So is Encroaching Mist. That's a Viego card. So I guess we grab Mark of the Isles because that could have the best use cases for us. And Quietus the Nora. We're doing a pretty good job just killing their units, though. We've dealt with double Anora and Fruit, and we're threatening Anora right now. Oh, what is that? Summon an exact copy of... Yo? That's Nico. Yo? They can only play Shape Splitter if Nico's in play. Nico can disguise herself as a 2-drop. So it looks like that Grandfather Fae right there seems to be a Nico in disguise. That threw me for a loop real quick. I was not ready for that. Okay. I have a slightly better idea of what's going on here and what I'm dealing with. Very interesting. 7-5 unit with Overwhelm. Well, Nico's not leveling, so I guess I do not care about that at this point in time. I'm pretty sure it's Senna or it's Vengeance. If I do Vengeance, I can Senna next turn. If I Senna, I take a bunch of damage, though. Yeah, it could just be a vengeance angle. Let the Nora hit me one more time. Or Robemaker, Pi. I'd love to kill Nora ASAP, but I can't. I want to kill the Nico too. Let's use that defensive Mark of the Isles here. Look at that. Feels good. And then I think the Nico is a little bit more important for me to deal with. So let us do that. Round 7, sounds good. We play, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Alright, so we're going to attack. Darkness the Nora. We have paste. We're fine, we're fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry, guys. Alright, so what I just did here was I went into the attack call while also casting Darkness, which allows us to get an extra Darkness in hand while also having one in play. It's a little Senna tech. Puzzling Signpost, interesting. Now I just have 2 Darkness in hand, which is actually really good for me. Nico still isn't leveling, as far as I'm aware. And we have a lot of removal, so I think we're okay. We just need to stabilize, we just need to keep shooting their dudes, and eventually we'll win, right? So Pastry this, Darkness this. Another 3 damage Darkness. I kind of wish I had Vagar. I think for maximum discounts, isn't Robemaker better here? Then I can play this and then both of these for 1 each. Yeah, that is probably better. Oh wow, wait, hold up. Leveling Nico. That's a spider, that's a cat. No, Nico's not leveling. Okay, it's 3. No. Robemaker. Just have to be a little worrying, you know, a little worried about this. Another spider, fine. Pastry, Darkness. I think we're okay. Do not fret.
Make the hurt.
There goes Nico, there goes Nora. Alright. Yorls in arms. Wow. That's pretty scary. 6-4, 4-4 elusive. Yeah, I think I have to kill the web spinner. Okay. They have deemed that it is over. We did a good job controlling the board, ladies and gentlemen. And to round out the Darkness Spotlight, like I did mention before, there is an intermediate version of this deck in the description below. This version does have some epics to craft. There are 2 Eradication and also 1 Ruination. Should be pretty easy to get these 3 cards, otherwise the list looks primarily the same. And also feel free to check out my recent updated Darkness deck profile for more context, and even more example games if you think this deck is up your alley. And the next deck I have for you is Dragons, based off the tutorial deck called Fangs and Fury. The main strategy of this one is the Demacia classic of building a board of big bulky units and then using them to win combats over and over until you beat down the opponent. It very much cares about protecting its units, so it has buff spells and also strike spells to help keep the opponent's strategies down while you develop yours. It is a mid-range deck, which means it wants to win somewhere in the mid-game, not too early and also not too late, somewhere in the middle around turns 7 and 8. That rhyme was on complete accident, by the way. I sound like Dr. Seuss. But yeah, getting into the list specifically, we have Fleet Feather Tracker, 1 mana 2/1. When you summon another ally, grant me Challenger, allowing you to determine what is being blocked. This is nice because Fleet Feather Tracker can come down early, and then you use him to attack early game units that the opponent doesn't want you to attack, right? Something like their early game champions they want to develop and play around, well, Tracker can just go out of its way to kill them, so that's super nice. And comboing with Fleet Feather Tracker, we have Bright Steel Protector. 2 mana 2/1, play. Give an ally barrier this round. Barrier is nice, prevents damage for 1 instance. So you can play Fleet Feather Tracker on defense 1, And then do Bright Steel Protector on attack 2. Really make it hard for the opponent to develop turns 1 and 2, otherwise you're going to kill their stuff with your Fleet Feather Tracker. Really good overall, just early game Demacia classic. Next we have triple Form Up. 2 mana burst speed spell, give an ally +2/+2 this round. This is really nice because we can cast Form Up as a response to removal, so if the opponent is trying to do damage spells like P and Z things, Mystic Shot, stuff of that kind, then we can use Form Up to protect us. But we can also use Form Up in combat, so if the opponent has more stats than we do, we can use Form Up to try to match that or beat over the opponent's unit, putting us ahead on the board. Next we have Herald of Dragons, 2 mana 1/2, dragon allies cost 1 less. This also stacks, so if you have multiple heralds, then you are getting big discounts on your big dragons and playing them early. Really pivotal card to get down in the early game and also try to protect with your Form Up and also your Pale Cascade. That way you can play dragons at an accelerated rate. Speaking of Pale Cascade, 2 mana burst speed spell, give an ally 1/1 this round. Also, if this is not the first card you play in a round, draw 1. Really nice at just like cycling a little bit and also giving you a quick +1/+1 boost. Next we have Petricite Broadwing, 2 mana 0/3, formidable. I strike with my health instead of my power. Very important to realize. Not attacking with the 0 attack. It attacks with its HP, which is super interesting. When you summon another ally, grant me Challenger. So the same effect as Fleet Feather Tracker. Going to be doing all the same things as well. This is a very strong Demacia card. I would even say a must craft for like any just board centric Demacia strategy. So very safe to craft and throw into any Demacia deck you're trying to play. It's a rare, so really important to get that going. And next we have Single Combat, which is yet another staple card. 2 mana fast speed spell, an ally and an enemy strike each other. This is really good. So this is basically Demacia's form of removal. Instead of being able to just kill an ally right away, like how we were doing with Darkness, with Shadow Isles, instead we need to have an ally developed and we need to use its stats to kill an opponent's stats. So really interesting card. It has a lot of more like outplay potential. The opponents can interact with this in a lot of ways, but so can you with like buffs. So really interesting. We do get an added benefit that if we strike with our dragons and our dragons kill, they will grow stronger, which we'll talk about very shortly with the dragon effect. But yeah, Single Combat really good at dealing with units that the opponent is trying to sit on, like mid-game champions and stuff. We can just kill them outright with our dragons, and that feels fantastic. Next we have Double Dragon's Clutch, 3 mana burst speed spell. Draw 2 dragons from deck, or grant dragons +1/+1 and overwhelm. So this is a really nice card. It double dips as a draw resource, so we can refill our hand in case we're running low, or we can use it to make our dragons really big and also do piercing damage, allowing us to win with really big stats on the board. Next we have Strafing Strike, which is another strike spell, a lot like Single Combat. It costs 1 more, but pretty much does the same thing. An ally and an enemy strike each other. Then, if the ally is a dragon, heal it 5. The dragon needs to live the strike for the heal to resolve, so keep that in mind. But yeah, it's basically 1 more mana than single to get a heal on your dragon, which is massive. This is absolutely insane. Really good card. Next we have our first dragon to talk about, 3 mana 2/3, Wounded White Flame. Fury. So Fury is an effect that all the dragons in this deck have. When I kill a unit, grant me 1/1, and this stacks. So if we go into combat, we kill something, we're going to get a bigger dragon. If we use Single Combat or Strafing Strike and strike with this Wounded White Flame, and it kills the enemy unit, it's going to gain that +1/+1 again, constantly increasing and growing, becoming a snowballing threat for the opponent to deal with. And this is true with all the dragons that we run, so very good keyword here. Wounded White Flame also has another keyword called Faded. Each round, the first time an allied card targets me, grant me 1/1, so he becomes a very good target for our buffs. All of a sudden, Form Up becomes a +3/+3 boost, and Pale Cascade becomes a +2/+2 boost, you see? Once per turn, he gets this Faded effect, but very strong as well. Next, we have our first champion, Shyvana, 4 mana 3/4 with Fury as well. Attack, give me +1/+1 this round. So if you play her on attack 4, she is going to be a 4/5. If you play Herald the Dragons on turn 2 and you're on defense turn 2, you can go into attack 3 and play your Shyvana on turn 3 while also attacking, being basically a 3 mana 4/5, which is absolutely insane. She levels up if Dragon Eyes have dealt 16 damage over the course of the game, and then she becomes Super Big Shyvana. On attack, you get +2/+2, and she also creates a fleeting 2-cost Strafing Strike. in hand, so you get to use it. If you don't use it, it gets discarded round end, so you probably want to use it, and it's going to be 2 mana instead of 3, so you get another strike spell to keep your dragons nice and healthy and also growing. Extra copies of Shyvana become Confront, Burst Speed, grant an ally Challenger. If it's a dragon, draw 1, so again, really nice to get a free draw, and then also as Challenger, same thing as Tracker and Broadwing, that way you can kill things. And also, yeah, put the Shyvana back in your deck, so really, really good card overall here too. Next, we have 2 Fused Firebrand, 5 mana 5/5, Spell Shield, and Fury. What I've noticed in testing is that this Spell Shield is really, really strong. So it makes it to where the opponent has to do a combination of spells to actually kill your thing. And it makes it hard for them to deal with your Fused Firebrand in case they don't have enough mana. So really, really cool. This makes Fused Firebrand a fantastic target for single combat and also Strafing Strike, because it makes it hard for the opponent to interact with your striker. So that's just really nice. Also, you can play him on turn 4 if you have Herald down, which feels pretty good. Next, we have Screeching Dragon, 5 mana 4/5, Challenger, and also still has the Fury. So really, really good. Just comes with Challenger. You can use this to grab other things in the mid game, try to kill them. Buff up Screeching Dragon with Form Up, and then you can kill things with 6 HP, and he's pretty tanky. So really, really good card for the mid game. And next we have our top end win cons. We have Eclipse Dragon and Aurelion Soul, which are played in conjunction with each other. So Eclipse Dragon says 7 mana 7/7 Daybreak. If this is the first card you play in a round, so you just do Eclipse Dragon as your first action, you get this effect. The next dragon or celestial unit you play costs 2 less, which means if you play Eclipse Dragon on 7 and you don't play any other dragons or you don't play any other celestials, that will mean your Aurelion Soul will cost 2 less the following turn, allowing you to play this big 10-drop unit on turn 8, which is super awesome. That's basically what we're trying to play around. So we want to play Eclipse on 7 and then A Soul on 8. Eclipse's other effect, Nightfall, so if you play this second in the round or later, create a random dragon and also celestial follower in hand, so it's a nice little resource refill. This does come up quite often where you want to get those because a random dragon and a random celestial are both very strong. And finally, we have Aurelion Soul. 10 mana 10/10 can also be an 8 mana 10/10 if you think about it. Can also be played even faster if you do Herald, it stays alive. Then you can play Eclipse on 6, and then you can play A Soul on 7, which is even more crazy, but yes, there are some awesome combos in this deck. And he has Spell Shield, making him hard to deal with. Also, invoke a celestial card that costs 7 or more. Invoke shows you 3 cards and you get to pick one. Celestial cards are like their own pool of cards that are very, very strong. There's a bunch of them for different mana costs, and they all do different effects. If you want to see the entire pool of celestial cards, all you have to do is come up here in the collection to the slider, scroll down, and then click on Celestials. And then you can see the entire pool here. Aurelion Soul is going to be pulling the ones that cost 7 or more, which are like the really big spells and the really big units that help you end the game. Also, every round start, he will create a Celestial in hand, so you can even get the cheaper ones that I just showed. He levels up if you have 20 total power on your board round end. So you need to have like A Soul, you need to have maybe Eclipse Dragon plus 1 other dragon, and then you'll have 20 total attack stat, and then A Soul will level when the round ends. Then, what's really broken about him is that he has one of the most powerful effects in the late game, where if he is leveled, all of your celestial cards cost 0, and he keeps generating them every round start. So the one you picked, like one of the big boys, can just be played for free, and that's really insane. And then also, again, you get a new one every turn, so you can keep playing them, and you basically just win with really big dudes, on top of A Soul also being a really big dude. Also on top of Dragon's Clutch probably coming in and making A Soul overwhelm, so he does piercing damage. So yeah, really, really scary card. His champion spell is the Sky's Descend. Slow speed spell, I cost 2 less for each dragon or celestial ally you have. Deal 15 to all enemies, which is just a really big board wipe. I almost never use this, it almost never comes up because you usually win if you have A Soul on the board and you're like playing towards his win con. So I don't ever really play this card, but it is cool, it has a really fun effect, so recommend trying it if it ever does come up for you. And that's it for the deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how it plays out. And for this example game, we're going to be fighting Nasus Callista Slay, which I think is really cool. I've been having a lot of fun with this archetype as well, with the new Slay cards. We're expecting it to get even stronger with the December expansion, so look forward to that. Broadwing, Dragon's Clutch, Screeching, A Soul. Interesting. So I know for a fact I want to keep Broadwing, and probably even the A Soul. I think I could mulligan away both of these and be pretty happy. Because I want to make sure I get some combat tricks, right? Which are the buff cards. We want Form Up and we want Pale Cascade. Wounded White Flame's interesting too. We can play around him. And we have our combo of Eclipse into Acel. Extra Acel for the really big removal, I guess. I want to do... Oh, what is that? When you slay a unit, reduce the cost of the next Darken unit. So they're going to play really big Darken. This is a landmark. Pretty interesting. We could do Tracker Float too, but I don't really see a reason to at the current moment because I'm not on any 2-mana spells. So I think Broadwing is better at just like getting on the board. Play White Flame. If we top deck a 2-cost spell, I mean, I'll play Tracker after. Doesn't really matter that much. We've got Shyvana. Cool. We'll play White Flame here. That way we start establishing our board presence as soon as possible. Oh. Oh, I can't actually deal with that. That is a 3/4. That's a very strong unit. We only deal 3 damage with this and 2 damage with that. Ole mole. Yeah, I can't block her either because she's fearsome. My units can't block. We'll play Shyvana. I really like my skins with this deck too. Got the Targonian Summit, got the little pet, Cosmic Shyvana, Cosmic Acel. The skins in this game are fantastic. I mean, hashtag not sponsored. I'm just saying. Let's see. Tracker Confront. What's the point of Tracker? Just to give them 1 extra action to see what they do? Yeah, I mean, it takes mana from them. I don't see why not. Yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, let's do Tracker. Like, we could just get, like, Vengeance right now as well, which would be pretty nice for us. I want to see the mana investment. Okay, interesting. Let's do this. And try to grab Callista. And then send it. And then we'll just float 3, I guess. Hate Spike. Sounds good. At least the Callista dies. Kill an ally to deal 3. They killed my Broadwing, but hey, we got that Callista. I think that mattered quite a bit for us. I want to float 3 mana though, right? Yeah. That way, in case I top deck single combat or strafing strike, then we'll have access to that. So we're not going to play our Wounded White Flame here. Not like he does a lot for us on the board anyways right now. I'm already kind of established. Top decking useful spells would put us in a much better position. And now they have a dragon. It's called Callista because they hit a husk, which is kind of interesting. So now she has an extra keyword and extra HP stat. Oh, see, there's Form Up. Very cool. Fuse Firebrand. Nasus, huh? That's he's only a 5/5 at the moment. It's not too scary. That's not too scary to me. And then we play Eclipse Dragon. Look at us getting our big dudes down on the board. And we also have Acel on 8 this game, which is really annoying for them. They are on 3 champions though. So are we. Actually, we're on 4 champions. We're a tiny bit more cringe than they are. Alright. Interesting, interesting. Let's go ahead and do something like 7/7, 5/5. You grab you. You grab you. The attack order matters a tiny bit. It's annoying that Callista's leveling off of this actually. But like, I can't really do much about that. Yeah, I'm vibing with this attack order straight up. I don't think I want to send my White Flame and do Form Up on him. I think I'd rather just guarantee kill all this. Yeah. This is also denying all Slay procs. Okay. I'm pretty satisfied with this. I want to commit Form Up to 7/7, 5/5, or Shyvana, or Tracker, maybe? I don't know. Just like anything that's currently here. See what they do. This is going to be another Hate Spike play, yeah. That way Susan becomes a big dude. We'll do Form Up here. That way Susan still dies. Yep. I guess I could have also... No, we can't do Form Up on the Tracker. Tracker's at 1. So yeah, it just has to be this. We'll see what happens. Thread the needle. Sheesh. Wow. Well, at least I'm glad that the Nasus is not leveling. but that was a really good play by them. They had a lot of reaction tools. Yeah, all these pretty level up animations coming in. Nasus. 10-3, huh? Ballista is leveled. Spirit Leech kills the Husk, draw 2. Well, I'd like to say I'm not in trouble, but I am in a little bit of trouble here. Just an eensy bit. Especially if Tarash comes down, and then I'm in a lot of trouble. Reduce the cost of the next Darken unit you play by 1. Alright, interesting. I want to kill the Nasus, obviously. And he can always grow in stats if they do more slang, so I just do this. I go to 10, or I go to 13. Yeah, I'm down to go to 10. Just to kill another unit. If I try to block Callista, this thing's gonna die instead. Another hate spike. Can you like stop or what? 3 hate spikes? Like that's so extra. I'm not gonna use any buffs or anything because I want to play Asol this turn. Asol. Great Beyond.
Hello, Runeterra. Let's rock.
Another Nasus. Isn't that a bit ridiculous, my friend?
I do love it.
Great Beyond.
My magnum opus.
What are you doing? What is that, mate? Oh. Let's say I have like spell shields and stuff. This unit is elusive. Have fun with that. Puts you down to 1 HP. You know what's really crazy? Somehow their Nasus has gotten outside of the range of Sky's Descent.
They will never die because
Volibear, sure. Okay. I don't think I care all that much. Okay, now I start to care. Now I care a little bit. Oh, now I care a lot. That's a lot of Nasus.
Through death, grow in power. The wheel never stops turning.
That is like an obscene amount of Nasus that they have up here. Uh-huh. Yeah, bro, I've never seen a 2021 Nasus. 6 plus 7 is... I don't know. Probably enough to kill me, but we'll see. I don't think so. I think we're fine.
through servitude.
I think we're like straight up chilling. So we want to do strafing here. Level 3, no problem. Right, sounds good to me. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I could do single. It's like the same thing. Cheaper that way. Block the Nasus, kill the 7/7. We live in. Pop. And then we play Screeching. And then we probably just play the Trickster out and threaten lethal with Trickster. Only issue is going to be Quicksand. But hey, I had some stuff up my sleeve too. I got some strike spells. You have your little fancy removal cards. I got strike spells. We livin'. Keeper. Uh-huh. Alright, as long as they're not on Vengeance or Quicksand. Let's do Ivana here, just for fun. Does it really matter? I don't know if I want to give them a slow speed action in case they have like another siphoning strike. They could have drawn back into it. Pretty sure it's open attack, yeah. And just pray they don't have Quicksand, which they do not. Let's go. Holy. Barely lived that. And the last deck I have for you is Volibear Aesol. If you use the Aesols you get from Fangs and Fury, this deck actually isn't that bad to craft. The main reason why I'm showcasing it is because this deck really is one of the best ways to learn a fundamental archetype in this game, ramp control decks. It's so incredibly beginner friendly in how it wants to play the game and even how it wants to win. Even though it will be the most difficult to craft of the three, I cannot stress enough how helpful it is for new players while being as fun as it is. What it mainly wants to do is accelerate its mana by playing ramp cards that give you more gems, or by playing landmarks called sigils, which allow you to play really big dudes much more cheaply, kinda like the discount strategy we were doing with Eclipse and Aesol with the last deck. So getting into the list specifically, we have Blue Sentinel, 2 mana 2/3, last breath summon a Crest of Insight, so when it dies, you will get 1 extra mana gem on the following round. Really good at, again, getting your big dudes out later if you play Blue Sentinel in the mid game. Then we have Cosmic Youngling, which is one of the strongest Targon control cards. 2 mana 1/4. Round start, heal me and your Nexus 1. Cosmic Youngling, especially 2 Cosmic Younglings, spells immediate doom for aggressive burn strategies. You get to basically automatically win for free. Really, really strong card. Next we have 2 Falling Star, which is a removal card. 2 mana slow speed spell, deal 4 damage to an enemy that attacked this round or is currently stunned. So you usually just let something hit you, you can like maybe chump block something that's a bit scary, and then deal 4 to it for 2 mana, which is absolutely insane. Like, that's a lot of damage. Next we have triple Sky Splitter, 2 mana burst speed spell, give an ally +1/+3 this round. This is really good if you want to put it on Cosmic Youngling, make it trade up into 2 HP units, can put it on Blue Sentinel, help him trade, you can put it on Pioneer, Prophet, all kinds of stuff. This is just one of the best cards in the game, especially in Freljord. So it's a very safe craft, it's only a common, and then you can start throwing it into any Freljord deck that you play that cares about its unit stats, which is most of them right now. So yeah, really, really good. Next we have Invocation of Thunder, 3 mana slow speed spell, draw 1 right away, which is really nice, it cycles itself, summon a Sigil of the Storm. Sigils are landmarks. It says the sigils can stack, Titanic allies cost 1 less, destroy me when you play a Titanic ally. Titanic is a unit with either 8 in their attack stat or in their HP stat, so basically just a big dude. We can play our big dudes cheaply. If we have a 8 mana big dude and 4 sigils, we can play that 8 mana big dude for 4 mana. It's just, for each sigil we have, it's 1 mana less. Really, really simple, really easy. It stacks, so we just slam a bunch of sigils and then we play big dudes. Really, really fun. And we have Scholarly Pioneer, 3 mana 2/3 Challenger. Pick an Explorer spell to create in hand. Just like the other Pioneer that we talked about in the Darkness deck, this will give us our Explorer spells. You want to pick this one against weapon-based strategies, pick this one against landmark-based strategies, especially sigils, Blunder for keyword strategies, and Refreshments for aggressive burn strategies. Next we have Valhyr's Prophet, 3 mana 2/3, when I'm summoned, summon a Sigil of the Storm. So really nice, we can keep these stacking. Next we have Triple Avalanche, 4 mana slow speed spell, deal 2 to all units. This does hurt your own. However, our units are really tanky. We have Cosmic Youngling and we have like 3 HP units, which is really nice. But what you want to use Avalanche for is against aggressive strategies that want to swarm the board. Then you just, boom, wipe it all away. Very classic Freljord card. You're going to be using this card a lot in any Freljord ramp strategy. Double Harsh Winds, another classic Freljord card. 5 mana burst speed spell, Frostbite 2 enemies. Frostbite sets something's attack straight to 0, so you get to do that with 2 units. Really, really good. Next we have Sunburst, one of the strongest single target removal spells. It is 5 mana and slow speed, deal 6 to a unit, Daybreak. So if you play this card first, silence the unit and then also deal 6. This basically means if the opponents have any buffs or anything like that, it just won't work. If they put a buff on it, it will get silenced and then deal 6. So the Sunburst, like playing at Daybreak, basically means I want that unit to die, and I want it to basically be guaranteed. And for the most part, it will be. If you want something to die, yo, just Sunburst it. And next we have Rond the Magma Serpent. This is the only epic card that I'm covering amongst all of my decks. The reason I'm doing so is because Rond is a must run in Volibear. Absolutely a must. This is because Rond into Voli is just like Eclipse into Aesol. It's like the same exact combo. we want to play a big unit that makes our next one cheaper. So Rond is really nice. You can get some sigils early, play Rond on like 6, and then you can play Volibear on turn 7, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, Rond summons 3 sigils right away. If you're able to play Rond on 5, you can technically play Volibear on 6, and that's the fastest you can do it. Next we have Triple Seismic Shard, another single target removal card, just like Sunburst. This says if you behold the Titanic, so it needs to be in play or in hand, then it will deal 7 to something while costing 3 less. It's 4 mana, basically. As long as you behold the Titanic, then 4 mana deal 7, really good card. Next we have our first champion, Volibear, 9 mana 10/10. On play, play Relentless Storm 3 times. Relentless Storm says deal 4 to a unit. If it's dead or gone, deal 2 to the enemy nexus instead. So he will target 3 different things, deal 4 to them. If they somehow die during the stack or something happens, he will do 2 damage to the enemy nexus instead. As well as if there's only 1 target, he'll shoot it and then do 2 of them to the enemy nexus. He levels up if you've dealt 50 damage over the course of the game, and then basically he's a big overwhelmed dude that has piercing damage, and also every time he does an attack call, he does the Relentless Storm effect again, which is really nice, and also gives your other allies overwhelm. Hooray! So he just becomes a 1-card win con. Like, he's really strong if you play around him and level him and get him down in the late game. His champion spell, deal 4 to all units except Titanic allies, so it's like big avalanche, basically just avalanche on crack. Really good. Very costly though, but can also come up, especially in the mid game. If the opponent has a bunch of 4 HP units or less and they're all super powerful, you can just wipe the board. Nice and easy. And finally we have Aesol, just like the last deck, does all the same things. We want to level him pretty often with this deck because we're going to be playing big dudes, and then we get our big invokes, and then all of our Celestials are also going to have Overwhelm from Volibear passive. So yeah, just absolutely insane for the opponent to deal with. And that's it for this deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how it plays out. And for this example game, we're going to be fighting a variation of dragons, a lot like the deck we just played, but instead of Aurelion Sol, they have Yuumi, to try to protect and buff their earlier dragons and win maybe a bit faster than what we were trying to do. We have Pioneer, Falling Star, Sky Splitter, Valyr's Prophet. Wow, all pretty good stuff. I think I'm going to get rid of Pioneer and keep Prophet plus these. Main reason is I don't think Pioneer is going to be super useful in this matchup. And we can use Prophet and also like Sky Splitter to protect it, buff it up, Falling Star to kill a dragon. All just really good stuff overall. So we're going to pass the first few turns. We want to establish our sigils ASAP. That way we can get our Rond down. So that's going to be our game plan this game. We'll play Prophet here. Herald, yeah. That makes sense. We don't really need to draw now. We can always do this next turn in case we don't top deck anything useful. I think having the extra spell mana is really nice because we're going into turn 4. Yeah, let's actually just attack here and see what they do. Bonk. Shyvana, yeah, that's going to be a Sunburst for sure, right? Sounds good to me. Random Guiding Touch face so they can draw. Alright, so that is -1 champion. We're going to be nice and annoying, to be honest. We have so much removal. We're going to be cringe here for a few turns. Wounded White Flame. Am I okay with that? I think I'm pretty okay. Yeah, go ahead. What else you got? We're going to pass because we don't really have to do anything. I'm down to see another Shyvana. And that will warrant my Sunburst. Single combat. Interesting. Single. Sure, that's fine. What I want to do is Invocation, and then probably Falling Star the Wounded White Flame after he attacks. Oh, interesting. They're also giving me Falling Star Heralds. Both get outplayed by Form Up, so it doesn't matter which one I target. Let's go ahead and do this. Falling Star, Wounded White Flame. If they have Form Up, then I'll do Avalanche next turn probably. Or Guiding, yeah, same thing. Yeah, they're doing a good job protecting their dragons. Or we play Rond here. We don't really have a follow-up though. I think playing removal and trying to whittle down their board, stop what they're trying to do, is currently the correct play. We can run like later, it doesn't really matter. I'd like to see another big dude though. Another big dude would go a long way for us. Pioneer, hello. You're not super useful at this moment in time. Bronze. We still have Sunburst. It won't be Daybreak, but that's alright. We have Harsh Winds. Both good options. Okay, nothing. Yeah, we pass. Fine by me. Attack. Yeah, let's play Blue Sentinel and also the Pioneer. We can play out our stuff. Because we have a lot of mana to work with. Broodfather. Okay. Let us turn off keywords. What I'm probably going to do is Sunburst now. And then try to kill him with Pioneer. We have to do it in this order so that we don't try to attack first. And then the Fury proc would happen and it would be at 3. So we're going to try like this, yeah? Hopefully no more buffs or heals. Ah, Pale Cascade. An eensy bit tragic, I'd say. Ooh, there's Asol though. Asol clutch, I believe. It's not like their Broodfather can even summon their Asol or anything, so I think we're in a better spot, aren't we? Wow, and they also play units that... Okay. You know what? I wasn't even worried for a second. We played our Blue Sentinel, that way we can now use it as a chump blocker. Single combat's fine. I don't want the Harsh Wind. I'm just playing Asol. Let's go. Give me a big dude. Living Legends is a good dude. Beyond Legends. Beyond Living Legends. I think I'd rather play multiple other dudes after filling our hands. Because currently I can't go for Asol level unless I top deck, I don't know, Volibear or something. In which case, then I'll go for it. Then we just play Harsh Winds on defense turn, and we basically win by our next attack. Yeah, instead we're on triple Sky Splitter, which is a bit awkward. Living Legends gives us 3 Celestials to play. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with these. These are good. Sisters?
The light of my star warms.
That threatens an Asol level. That's exciting. And then we can use our Sky Splitters to protect our units from more strikes. So honestly, I think this is good. Yeah, like what's going on here. Sure. Cataclysm goes up. We use Sky Splitter. Should be a good trade for us. Thank you for that. That was like a desperation attempt, right? Cal Cascade, yeah. They're looking pretty desperate with these plays. That doesn't even kill my sister. So we're pretty content with just letting this happen. And then attacking with only Asol and our Elusive. We don't want to attack with our other units because we want to make sure we keep our attack stats. If our units die, Asol will not level. So we're going to attack with the things that are protected. Asol's really big and has Spell Shield. She has Elusive, so she can't be blocked currently. Yep. Has also leveled our Volibear in deck. We need to play him and get him round ended. Then we're good. They play Shivana. No big deal. I'm gonna hold my mana just in case they're on like another single or something.
At my creations.
Cool. Alright. Alright.
I do love.
Yeah, there's our Volibear. That's the one I was talking about. Nice and easy from here. Yumi, I'm not even worried, bruh. We're just playing Volibear every time. Actually, we can obliterate this first. Because it's free. They're gonna surrender before I can do anything cool. They always do. The opponent has surrendered in 3, 2, 1. Oh, I actually called it. Oh man, no fun. And just like the intermediate version of Darkness, here is the 1/4 Volibear as a quick little skim with epics included. We have Winter's Touch, which is a mana ramping card, really good, but it is epic, so I did cut that for the budget version. And also Volibear. This card is really, really cool. Very recent card that was just added, and is also a Titanic unit that we can summon early, and then get some Frozen Thralls out, which are big 8/8 over 1 bodies, and it just feels so sick. Volibear is a fantastic inclusion into this deck, and so is She Who Wanders. So if you like the beginner version of Volibear at all, highly recommend crafting these epics, and then going for this version. This is the one to build for and to play for. I only have that super budget version so that you can kind of like dip your toes into the archetype and see if you like it. This is the one for when you fully invest, because She Who Wanders is also going to blow out a lot of games for you, while Volibear is clutching up some of the like early mid-game bad hands that you could have. So definitely would recommend this. Make sure to check out my recent Volibear Ace deck profile for even more gameplay. That video was before Volibear came out, so keep that in mind, but there are more example games for you to look at. And that's it for the beginner deck coverage. Extra shout out to the patrons on screen. Much love and thank you for supporting. Again, make sure to play all the decks that the game gives you and invest in these ones if you think they're your playstyle. I personally think that Darkness and Dragons are the two that will bring you the furthest in your climb, so that's why I wanted to give you updated versions of those, while also allowing you to branch out of the basic decks with Volibear coming in as the third one. And that's it for this one. Please like and subscribe if you thought this video was informative or entertaining. It really helps me out. I'll be releasing more deck profiles, guides, gameplay highlights, and meta reports in the near future. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one. Laters.